We're good? Okay. All right. Well, I don't know if anybody else is coming in here, but you guys are here first, so you get to win, okay? So for me, you know, I'm honored to be here. I've been doing business with these guys for more than a decade now, for more than 10 years. And it's a treat for me, right? Because I thought one day I said, I'm working on this fender in the shop, and my guys were like, why are you being so picky about that fender? I said, well, this fender, it was a front fender at the time. It's going to be called the benchmark fender. And they're like, okay, so who cares? I said, well, one day I'll be selling parts all over the world, just like Arlen Ness. And they're like, yeah, right, Brian, come on. I mean, we're in a tiny little single stall garage, not bigger than this corner, right? And so to be here is a treat for me, okay? I'm from a town of 350 people. There was only 14 kids in my class, right? So if you would have said, oh yeah, someday Brian Klock's gonna be in Australia talking about motorcycle parts, bullshit. That kid doesn't even pay attention in school, right? And I was that kid. I would doodle on the side of my paper. I wouldn't pay, you know, any attention to the teachers, and the teachers are like, yeah, that kid's he's never gonna make it, right? And yet, you know, for me to be part of the motorcycle industry, a treat. I love it, okay? So even as you're asking me earlier, just as we were sitting here chatting, you know, when you came out with a brand new windshield for these new, you know, 25, 24, 23 and a half model bikes, right? People were pissed. They came from, your question was, did you have the windshields right away? You know, how does that work, right? People were coming from the 120th anniversary of Harley and literally driving down to our booth. They bought the brand new bike for $50,000 and said, well, do you have a windshield? I'm like, no, we don't have a windshield. Like, I don't even have the bike, you know? And so people think that because we're the aftermarket, we automatically get people's windshields, right? Or we get a new bike to do something. Like, they don't give Luke at Fueling a brand new Nightster the minute it comes out. He's got to go pay for it, right? So he buys a brand new Street Glide. He calls me and he says, hey, can I get a windshield? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. But that's the friend factory that is the motorcycling world. And that's why we're here. And this is a great intimate setting. You guys are lucky that Rollies puts this on for you and keeps it so tight so that, you know, I've seen many of your faces, even if I haven't talked to you, because you can circle that room 16 times, right? And whether you're into the bagger thing or you're not into the bagger thing, that's all good, okay? When we first started out doing parts, we took 35 parts to Drag Specialties. I had a fender, a handlebar, a couple little items, right? And it all happened, the magic was August of 2006, okay? Because I got a call to be on a biker build-off. In 2004, I turned them down. And they're like, you really don't want to be on the Discovery Channel? I'm like, no, not at all. They're like, why not? I said, because my garage is this big. I said, if you come in here with your cameras, we can't even turn around. I said, I'm not interested. The guy's like, okay. And I would tell people that, and they're like, why would you do that, right? And I guess my personal journey is I was as much afraid of success as I was of failure, okay? I didn't want you to come to me and say, hey, can you rake my frame just like that, or can you chop my bike like that? I'm like, well, I did that one, but it might have took me 2 years, to get it right. So I didn't want to disappoint the next guy that I couldn't do it fast enough, right? Fast forward to 2006, I'm in Phoenix visiting my mom, and I believe it was Rick Fairless against maybe Matt Hotch at the time. And they said, hey, Mr. Klock, you're not off the radar. We still want you on the show. I said, it's okay, good. It's all good, right? And sure enough, he called one day, and I'm out working on one of our trailers. The wiring was broke. I remember it very vividly. My guy comes out, he goes, hey, it's Hugh King from Discovery Channel. He's on the phone. Like, you got to take the call. I said, I don't have to take the call. He goes, no, you got him, man. We're going to be on Discovery. I'm like, oh, you're a new guy. You don't understand. This is not my thing, right? So I went in there and I told Hugh, I said, let me talk to my guys and I'll call you back. He goes, will you really call me back? I said, I'll call you back. So I hung up the phone, and it was 5 of us. And I got them all together, and it was me and 4 guys. And I said, okay, what do you want to build? Well, I think we should build a bobber like the Cherry Bomb bike. I think we should build a chopper. I think we should build a Sportster chopper, right? Because we're the kings of that, right? I said, well, I think we should build a bagger, because all my dad's friends were riding baggers. Those are the guys that had the money. It wasn't the guys I hung out with. We all spent our money on girls and drugs and drinking, right? We're idiots, okay? But these guys had the cash, right? So sure enough, they had all the money. So I'm like, we were chopping fenders like this and putting a 4-inch extension in them, extending the bags, doing all these cool baggers for my dad's friends, okay? And man, what a heated argument we got into just like that, right? Because they're like, we build a bagger, we're gonna lose. You're an idiot. I'm like, okay, I understand, but I'm telling you, this is where the money is. I don't wanna be just another guy who builds another chopper and sells a bunch of t-shirts. Because look, the guy who did it 3 years ago or 2 years ago, you don't even remember him anymore at all. And he doesn't sell any more t-shirts. Now that guy's selling the t-shirts, or that guy's selling the t-shirts, you know? So we argued, and I finally said, you know what, this is gonna break the band apart, forget it. Go home today, go home early, and tomorrow morning we'll talk about this. I'm not doing this, I'm not arguing with you guys. So they all left. They come back a little bit later and come in the morning, and everybody's circled up, and I go, okay, what are we doing? The one guy goes, I thought about it, I'm with you, let's build a bagger. Yeah, let's build a bagger. Sure enough, there's that guy, right? And the guy goes, I'm not for it. We're gonna lose. I said, I understand, and for the first time in my life, I'm okay with losing in front of 3 or 4 million people on national TV. And he's like, damn it. All right, I'm with you, but I still think we should build a chopper. I'm like, okay. Sure enough, the day comes, here comes the Discovery Channel, the cameras are out there, they're getting set up, and we're gonna do this thing, and the girl goes, okay, Brian, she was the director. She goes, what are you building? I go, I'm building a bagger. She goes, oh my God. No, you're not. I go, yeah, no, I'm gonna be the first and only one to ever do it. She goes, no, they're not gonna go for that. I said, well, you're not paying me to build this bike. It's my money. Go ahead and get out of here. She goes, you can't be serious. I go, yeah, no, I'm serious. I'm not gaining anything from this other than you filming it for TV. I said, go ahead and leave. She went outside, called Hugh King, called the director. He gets me on the phone. He goes, what in the hell are you thinking? I said, I'm building a bagger. I'm okay with losing. And he goes, you're gonna lose, Brian. I said, I told you, I just said I'm okay with losing. He goes, okay, it's your loss. I said, no, it will be my loss. I'm okay with it, right? Because even the team that doesn't win the Super Bowl in the NFL, right? They still sold a ton of shirts. They got a ton of fame, right? Even if they're second place, right? Because you made it to the biggest show there is, okay? So that's where I was looking at my Discovery Channel opportunity. We went ahead and built the bagger, and we're ready to go, and we got about this many people, you know, all lined up because I need some painters, some of my friends come in, because you only have 5 days here, then they go to that guy's place for 5 days. You can't touch your bike. They literally have a 24-hour camera thing on you so that you can't touch that thing while they're gone. They come back, you got 5 more days to finish it, right? It's brutal, okay? And what's worse is they try to stir up all this drama, okay? So he tells you that it's his fault that we're not done because his welding has been too slow, okay? And then he tells you to say, well, if he would've got the motor together, you'd be farther ahead on your welding, and then we could get it to the painter. I mean, they're just like poking you. I'm like, I'm not doing this. That's exactly what I didn't want to do. I'd rather be the Rolling Stones. I'd rather be there writing song after song. Some of them are hits and some of them are flops. It's okay, but I like my team together, right? So I told the director, I said, when we come in the door, I said, you're gonna film all of us, all 10 of us riding up, and when we walk in, you'll film us all. She goes, no, it's you versus him, just you two, right? I said, that's not how I play the game. Go ahead and leave. She goes, you're gonna do this again. I said, yeah, but if you film all 10 of us, the director can decide if it ends up on the cutting room floor and he doesn't want to show those people. She goes, you're so stubborn. I said, I'm German, this happens, right? She comes in, we filmed this all. If you ever get to see the show, which it's now playing on Amazon Prime, and I think they're showing them on HBO Max. So it's like season 3, episode 11 or something like that. And it's Brian Klock versus Jay Hart. Jay built this cool little bobber. He water jet the frame all out and welded it together with these little pieces of pipe between it. So it looked like a vintage, 1930s VL or something. And all that to say, when we got there, I said, okay, well, where are we going? And they said, well, we're gonna go to breakfast, but Jay's loading his bike up because he's gonna meet us at the helicopter spot. I said, I thought we were supposed to ride him 750 miles. I rode here 300 miles just to see you. He goes, well, we don't want to waste the helicopter. What if his bike breaks? I'm like, who cares if his bike breaks? That's TV, that's real, right? He's like, that's not how it works, Brian. I said, well, I'm riding mine the whole way. I don't care, right? And I built a 124 S&S motor with B2 drag racing heads, okay? And I had carbon fiber wheels in 2006, okay? So think about that. 20 years ago, I was running carbon fiber wheels on my bike. I had one of maybe 4 sets in the whole nation, right? And when I called S&S, I told Brett Smith, who was the president at that time and has now become the president again, I said, Brett, I don't have any money. He goes, well, what do you want to do? I said, well, I'd like to lease that motor from you for $1, okay? It's $12,000 or something, whatever it cost at that time, 20 years ago. And I said, but here's the deal. I'm broke, okay? I'm putting everything I got into this thing. But if you tell me I did $2,000 worth of good at the end of the year, and I only owe you 10 grand, that would be great. But can you take the chance on me? He goes, yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that deal. So he took the chance, and S&S drove through the middle of the night to get there with this full-on, beautiful motor. They pull it out of a minivan and all this crap. We had a rapid prototype printer, which wasn't even a big thing then, 20 years ago. And we had that there. It was $250,000. I talked this company, I'm a good salesman. I talked these people coming down from Minneapolis to bring this fancy machine, right? They never showed it once on the show, okay? I'm like, this is so disgusting. I ran the bike at Bonneville. I won the biker build-off. I took my parts to Drag Specialties, got them to go, okay? So week 1, I'm at Sturgis, the first and only person to build a bagger, first and only person to win with a bagger, okay? 2 days later, I'm walking down the street and guys are coming up going, man, that's so cool what you did for Geezer Glides. Everybody thinks that's an old man's bike. That's so fast. It's so badass. I voted for you. And I'm like, wow. It's kind of crazy. Like, people are excited, right? And it created this phenomenon, okay? Next week, I go to Drag Specialties. You can see I don't use PowerPoints. I suck at that. I suck at this microphone, all that stuff. I talk with my hands. So I talked to the janitor, and he let me roll my bike in. So I bring my bike in right here, right? Pull that bagger right here. I got 50 guys from Drag Specialties, and I said, here's what I think we're going to do, and here's how I think we're going to do it. And they're like, oh, wow, okay, good luck, And I'm like, well, whatever, I tried, okay? So I head back out, and they called me at the end of the week and said, hey, we're taking all 35 parts. You're on. I'm like, great. I just won the Super Bowl, right? So what we called the WFB for Way Fast Bagger, okay? Now we won the build-off, became the world famous bagger, okay? We go home, we rip those extended bags off, we take the wheelie bar off, we change everything on the bike, and we get it ready to go to Bonneville. We start safety wiring all the nuts, doing all these things. We're ready to go to Bonneville with this thing, okay? We take it to the Salt Flats, and all I want to do is prove that I didn't build a trailer queen, okay? I don't care if I set the record, I just want to make one safe pass down there, okay? My ex-wife, Laura, was working in the shop with me all the time. And I said, you know what? Women in motorcycling continues to be bigger and bigger, and I think you should ride it. She's like, would you really let me ride it? I go, yeah, go ahead. I'm in front of the camera all the time. Take your turn, go for it, right? So we get our leathers, we get all the stuff, we drive out to Bonneville, we're scared to death. We get out there and the damn bike won't run, okay? We've got the wrong heat range of plugs in there because I underestimated how the sea level worked and the atmospheric pressure that comes from under the salt from all that water and stuff. It was just screwing up everything, the computer, everything, right? We finally get it all working. Laura takes off and she's gonna go ride it down there and she's like, I think we're good. I'm like, you made it to second gear, you think we're good? She goes, yeah, I think we're good, let's go for it. So we go down to the starting line and I said, just take it easy, okay? Just be careful, okay? And I was sitting there with 2 little girls, okay? One was 8, one was 13, okay? And I'm no way cut out to be Mr. Mom. And so I'm like, you gotta be careful, right? She takes off, gets through first gear, bike sounds pretty good. Second gear, bike sounds pretty good. Remind you, this is the Salt Flats, right? So you could hear a pin drop, right? It's super quiet, okay? There's no ambient noise, even like what you're hearing right now. There's nobody out there, and you're the only one that has the track at that moment. Second gear, third gear, fourth gear, all of a sudden she hits fourth gear and the bike goes, wah! And it's like, oh my God. The guy goes, what's the matter? I go, she's going for it. Because that's all she had to do was wait until fourth gear, and she knew that. I told her not to do that. I said, just take it easy. I don't care if you go 80, it's okay, right? Fourth gear, fifth gear, sixth gear, and all of a sudden, all we see is this plume of salt coming out of that thing, and it's spinning, and she's just boogieing, right? The guy goes, riders in the mile, riders through the mile, riders cleared the mile. Speed on the bike is, I think it was 143 miles an hour, right? The record in the class was 120. We just bested it by a jump, right? And I'm like, wow, okay, now the trick is we got to do it one more time because you have to go back the other way. In case there was a wind at your back, right? You have to equalize it, okay? So we come in, we check it all out, and I'm like, are you okay? She goes, yeah, but it shakes. I said, no way. We put double row bearings in the swing arm, right? I made these special blocks for it, everything so the swing arm wouldn't twist, because everybody knows about bagger wobbles, right? And sure enough, she goes, it wobbled. I'm like, damn it. How'd you get through it? She goes, I did exactly what you told me to do. I let go. I said, how fast do you think you were going when you let go? She goes, well, I don't know. I got to fifth gear. When I hit sticks, I kind of it started boogieing like this, and I just did what you told me, and I let go. So she let go, so it would kind of just come out of it. And then she goes, as soon as it slowed down a little bit, I got back in it, right? I said, you think you can do it one more time? She goes, I think I can. She went back the other way, exact same almost speed. We ended up at 143.6 something. She would kick my head right now for not knowing the exact number, okay? But the beauty of it was we had done it. Fred Fox, the guy who started Drake Specialties, and Tom Motzko, who's been there 40 plus years now, comes over and they're like, do you have any idea what you just did? I'm like, no, sir, but I'm pretty happy. He goes, you just changed the game for everybody. Be careful what you wish for. I didn't understand what he meant until the next 30 days. We were on the cover of every magazine in the world, including like Heavy Duty here, Freeway magazine over in France. I mean, it was huge, right? And suddenly, I'm on the cover of this magazine. They want me to pose like this because I'm really big and tough. Not at all, right? And they're like, this guy's the godfather of custom baggers. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like Arlen Ness is the godfather. He's the king, right? And it was just this phenomenon that happened, right? Because a woman driver, right? A bagger racing at the Salt Flats. And the Salt Flats is as big here as it is in America, right? You guys are awesome at it, okay? And so all of that to say that on the way home, I'm like, man, I can't believe that thing still wobbled. It just bothered the crap out of me, right? So I stuck my hand out the window, right? If you stick your hand out the window, right, you play this game. And if you go like this, it dips down, right? And if you go like this, it goes up, okay? Well, this is your hand ever so slightly curved out the window, okay? So instead of it going down fast, it's going down kind of easy. So I'm like, if we can build a windshield that this thing comes in and I revert everything and I try to get some more downforce on that front end, I believe that bike's just becoming a kite, okay? We make a windshield, we're talking to some guy at an event, and he goes, you gotta talk to my friend, he's a NASCAR guy, does NASCAR trucks, but he's kind of an asshole. I'm like, oh great, introduce me, right? And he goes, no, he's not real fun to talk to. I'm like, okay. Let me see if I can call him. And he called him. The guy said, hey, if you ever get to my area, come by. Well, I went to Myrtle Beach. On the way home, I stopped at the guy's shop. I was not going to miss this opportunity, right? He comes in the trailer. I tell him the story. He goes, I like you. Hang on a second. Goes and cancels a couple calls, comes back in, and he goes, how much time do you have? I said, I'm good. Whatever time you'll give me, sir. He goes, good. We're going to a wind tunnel. We went to the wind tunnel. The guy started introducing me and showing me all around. I said, sir, let's just be clear. I have no money, okay? Like I can't afford this wind tunnel at all, right? He goes, okay, you're good. We keep going and he goes, I said something again. He goes, sir, I heard you. I said, okay. Well, we're going to, I said, sir, I don't want to waste any more of your time. I can't afford this. He goes, listen, you need to shut the hell up. I said, okay, what's up? He goes, we're going to make sure she's safe. Just calm down. I said, okay. We walk through the wind tunnel and all of a sudden we get to the end of the tour and a guy walks in the side door and he goes, hey, Mr. Klock? I said, yeah. He goes, nice to meet you. We own A2 wind tunnel, which is the one you're in. And we also own A1 wind tunnel, which is the one I just came from. It's that big building next door. All we do in there, other than Christmas and Thanksgiving, is test NASCAR. I said, what? He goes, every team you think of is in there right now. I said, that's incredible. He goes, yeah, but your story's pretty good too. And he goes, let me show you something. He goes to a back door, he opens the door, he flips the light on, there's 10 motorcycles in there. He goes, we're motorcycle people. He goes, those are my employees' bikes. I said, this is awesome. He goes, yeah, before you get home, I'm gonna have a payment plan figured out for you. So I paid for 6 months, then I came back to the wind tunnel. We ran the bike, and with the stock windshield on there, okay, it goes 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. All I'm fixated on is that fork can down here, just going 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. They call from the tower, they go in there, Mr. Klock, put your windshield on. I unlock the door, go in, change the windshield out, go back out, look through the little window, and it's going 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. I said, okay, Lord, take your leathers off. Come on, let's go talk to these guys. We went upstairs in the control tower, and as we walked in, they're all standing there clapping. I said, what's up? And they go, call your patent attorney, kid. You just made this bike safer for everybody who owns one. I'm like, what? He's like, let me show you something. He looks at the TV screen, he goes, the stock bike has 30 pounds of lift. You just applied 15 pounds of downforce. You went 45 counts the other way. He goes, this thing's gonna be super stable. You fixed it. I'm not kidding, call your patent attorney. So we did, and I thought, nobody's gonna believe me, right? So when I went to the V-Twin EXPO in Cincinnati, I probably brought 50 of these windshields, right? And I only made them for road glides initially, because that's the bike we were working with, right? And I gave one to Arlen S, right? And I gave one to Jerry Covington and Paul Yaffe and the guys at S&S and Paco. And I kept handing them out. Because even if I just spent my whole life savings on giving out windshields, these guys had all taught me something and were all good to me in this industry, right? Arlen rode his for 1 week and he called me, he goes, can I get 10 of these? I'm like, really? Because Drag Specialties said, we think you'll sell 500 in the life of a road glide, okay? Keep that in mind. Fred Fox tells me, I think you're only ever gonna sell 500. My first order, I ordered 1,000. Because I figured if I couldn't sell 2% of the bagger market, and that was 20,000 people, then I was an epic failure, okay? And he goes, what'd you say, Brian? I said, I think I'm gonna sell 20,000 with or without you, Fred. He let the room settle down. I left the room, it was just like this, right? We walked out and you guys would be all the drag reps. He goes, shot kind of high in there, didn't you? I said, I don't know, did I? He goes, if you sell 5,000 of something in the motorcycle market, you won, okay? I said, okay, I don't understand. He goes, well, here's the deal. We've only ever sold 17,000 of something, and it sure as hell wasn't a windshield. I go, okay, well, can you tell me what it was? He said, yeah, it's that Reinhardt exhaust. When they came out with that black end cap, it was a phenomenon. Everybody wanted one, right? I said, well, then I guess I got my work cut out for me, sir. I better get back to the floor. So I left, and I just went, hey, do you think you could sell 10? Do you think you could move maybe 15? And all I wanted to do was get to that 500 number, because then I did what they said I would never do, right? Or that'd be all I'd ever do. Let's start there. That year, we sold 18,500 windshields. Not 500, 18,500, okay? I kept going back to the bank. They kept giving me these Band-Aid loans and just kept patching me because I didn't have any money, and I certainly didn't even have money to go to the wind tunnel, let alone put $300,000 of inventory in there, which is what Mr. Fox needed to keep selling windshields, right? Through Drag Specialties or whoever. And so it was the hardest year of my life, right? Now I really was a success, and I was about to be a huge failure because I was just broke, right? It was unbelievable, okay? All that to tell you that as the air comes on any straight windshield, okay, it doesn't matter if it's this tall or this tall. It goes like this, creates a swirling effect. Your glasses will do this, okay? This kicks it up so it's clean air. Why, if I ride a Sportster, my glasses are fine. But the minute I get on a bagger, it's doing all this stuff, right? Okay, there's number one. Number two for your customers is when you go like this, okay, that's like a V-plow. So if this is 40, this is 80. The faster you go, the bigger the air will push out. Won't come back in until it's behind your bike, okay? But the real trick is just what I told you. As the air comes across here, it's pushing down on here. Stock bike, 30 pounds of lift. This is 15 pounds of downforce, okay? It's an epic win. We know that if you put this on your customer's bike, it's a 93% success rate, okay? You just got to get them to ride it, okay? Even if they say, well, I rode this one, but when I went like this, it's a little bit better. Okay, well, we have one 2 inches taller, okay? But more importantly, they'll go, hey, you should come over and have a beer. We should talk about this. You should see this thing I put on my bike, right? Or the guy goes home and gives his wife a ride. And she's like, this is so much better than our other one. I can actually hear the radio, right? Because there's a dead pocket of air here and the swirling's not happening. The audio is super clear, okay?